most cities will be too hot to host the Summer Olympics by 2085. A newly published study states that most cities in the world will be too hot to host the Summer Olympics in the near future. This includes Tokyo, which will host the Games in 2020. The wet bulb globe temperature uses a device to measure the effect of ambient temperature, relative humidity, wind speed, and solar radiation on humans. When this temperature exceeds 77 degrees Fahrenheit, athletes competing outdoors may begin to experience heat stress. The reason is that high humidity in the air reduces the rate of sweat evaporation, the body's natural cooling system. Scientists predict that the bid cities for the 2020 Olympics, Istanbul and Madrid, as well as Tokyo, would all be too hot to host the event in the future. Contenders for the 2024 Games, Rome, Paris, Budapest, and Los Angeles, could also become unfit to host the Games just 6+ decades later. By 2085, only a few cities would have suitable climates. They include Edinburgh, Glasgow, Dublin, Belfast, Calgary, Vancouver, and San Francisco. With only a few cities left to choose from, perhaps the Summer Olympics should be postponed. Just a thought. Turban-wearing Broncos fans freak out a whole bunch of ill-informed people. Last Sunday, 5 Broncos fans drove 7 hours from Fresno to San Diego to see their favorite team take on the Chargers. But 3 of these fans were wearing turbans. Why? Funny story, actually. They're Sikhs. The men say a guard approached them as they were going through security and said, "You guys gotta take those turbans off," which the Sikh men replied would violate their religious beliefs. Eventually, security let the 5 friends inside to watch the game, but told them if they ever wanted to come back, they'd have to leave the turbans at home, which is like un-American, unacceptable, and just plain stupid. There was also plenty of ignorance on display outside Qualcomm Stadium that day. Seeing 3 turban-wearing men doing something in the trunk of their car, a concerned individual reported them to security, who called in a bomb-sniffing dog. What were these suspicious football fans doing? Putting a bag, which did not actually contain a bomb, into the trunk of their own car. Ooh, spooky. Racial profiling is hotly debated, and while we're not at all convinced profiling does anything meaningful to boost security, seriously, this is just embarrassing. Get your racist profiles updated, would ya? UK 13 and 14-year-old girls on trial for fatally beating woman. Angela Wrightson of Hartlepool in the UK was an alcoholic whose drinking habit made her much older than her 39 years. But neighbors told The Guardian she was well-liked, especially when sober. She also had a reputation for buying alcohol for minors. Wrightson allegedly supplied 2 runaway girls, aged 13 and 14, with booze, reportedly in exchange for getting free alcohol. On the evening of December 8, 2014, the teen girls arrived at Wrightson's home just after 7:30 p.m. What happened between then and 4 a.m. reads like a scene out of Clockwork Orange. The girls left Wrightson's home at 11 p.m., before returning at 2 a.m. and finally leaving again at 4. During that time, Wrightson suffered more than 100 injuries after being battered with sticks, a TV set, a computer printer, and even a coffee table. Chillingly, at the girls' ongoing trial at Leeds Crown Court, the jury was told the girls sent mocking Snapchat selfies posing with Wrightson's battered body, and then, laughing and joking, called the police for a ride home. The teenagers even took a Snapchat of themselves sitting in the back of the police van after the alleged crime. The girls claim Wrightson threatened them with a knife, but whether true or not, evidence points to a sustained, utterly callous beating in 12 separate locations of the woman's home. Wrightson was found dead on her sofa, naked from the waist down. It's unknown what sentence the girls, unidentified for legal reasons and now 14 and 15 years of age, could receive if found guilty. Both defendants deny murdering Wrightson. U.S. unlikely to meet Paris Climate Agreement targets. A recent study revealed that the U.S. is highly unlikely to fulfill its greenhouse gas emission targets set at the Paris climate talks last year. The U.S. has pledged to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 28% from 2005 to 2025. However, Ars Technica reports current and proposed emissions policies would still only reduce the rate by about 4.8%. A report published in Nature Climate Change suggests the U.S. needs to phase out coal and natural gas power plants more aggressively and increase the use of renewable energy and electric cars. The report also suggests the U.S. transform oil and gas-based heating systems to electric systems in order to attain its emissions goals. UN studies estimate average world temperatures are expected to rise by 3 degrees Celsius or more by 2100. U.S. President Barack Obama called Wednesday a historic day when a global agreement to combat climate change was signed by European nations such as Germany, France, and Austria. The agreement will formally start on November 4th. Massachusetts teen found guilty of killing and raping teacher. Philip Chism, the Massachusetts teen accused of raping and killing his high school math teacher Colleen Ritzer when he was 14, was convicted of first-degree murder on Tuesday. The murder took place on October 22, 2013. Chism followed Ritzer into a bathroom at Danvers High School, where he stabbed and raped her. Chism then used a recycling bin to move Ritzer into the woods outside the school, where the attack continued. Ritzer's body was later found in the wooded area. Chism's lawyers argued that he was suffering from severe mental illness and was experiencing a psychotic disorder when he committed the crime. However, the jury found Chism, now 16 years old, guilty of premeditated murder in the first degree. He will reportedly be sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 15 years. Ritzer was a very popular teacher at Danvers High School. She was passionate about teaching math and was known for developing creative ways to teach her subject. Her family expressed gratitude towards the jury on a statement posted on a Facebook page dedicated to Ritzer.